Another video on Joe Rogan. So Spotify decided that they're going to put a warning on some of Joe Rogan's content that's on their platform. Now, Joe Rogan admittedly is a degenerate comedian, okay? If you're going and listening to Joe Rogan, you're there to laugh, you're there to be entertained, maybe you're there to be educated on some things from some of his guests, but he's not a university. He is not the pillar of accurate information. The guy has had people on where they've talked for 3 hours about aliens, about how they believe wholeheartedly that aliens, and they give all this evidence and all this other stuff, when meanwhile there's no evidence, there's no nothing that even these people can provide. It's just them talking. Okay, how low do we have to get? How low are our standards where we have to warn people going into Joe Rogan's podcast? If you've ever gone to see any of his comedy, you'll understand what I mean, right? He's a vulgar, vile comedian who's great. I've seen him live. He's amazing, one of my favorite comedians. But if we're trying to look at this person and say that they're in charge of your thinking, I mean, the bar is so low. How much lower can it get? Are we gonna put stakes in the sand with signs in 50 different languages that say, if you go into the ocean and go into the water, don't breathe in while your head is underneath because you can't breathe H2O? Are we gonna have to put planes in the sky circling around that say, don't stare directly into the sun because that's gonna damage your eyes? I mean, where does this go? And you're kind of sitting there going, oh, come on, JD, that's ridiculous. No. Joe Rogan having a warning on his podcast is ridiculous. We've lost our minds with this thing. Because when you talk about misinformation and you talk about all of the stuff that's been put out by mainstream, non-mainstream podcasts, this person, that person, there's been so much information all over the place. I get into arguments all the time with people about information about health and fitness because that's my field. And where does this information come from? From really high quality sources, and it's all lies. It's all lies. So again, where is our standard? Where is our bar for warning in life? Here's what I believe. I believe that you're born, right? As soon as you're born, your only warning is there are no warnings. Life is dangerous. What you listen to could harm you. What you don't pay attention to, what you don't listen to could also harm you. If you're ignorant or if you're not paying attention, you could be harmed. Life is dangerous. We have to wake up to this fact. If we don't, well, we aren't, and you can see what's going on, okay? We are gullible people who will believe anything. We're not skeptical. We're not critiquing anything, and it's our downfall. So the fact that it's Joe Rogan of all people that has to come out and talk about, oh, well, these people are, I bring on all different sides of people. He doesn't have to explain anything. He's a comedian. He's there to make you laugh. He's there to interview people. He does his job and he goes on with his life. The fact that he's actually coming out and saying anything, to me, is concerning. That means that he's getting pressure from Spotify to do this because he's got a lot of money riding on the line, right? And it's hilarious because they don't even understand. I made my last video about, they're looking at money, they're looking at the bottom line because of future dollars coming in. They understand that Joe Rogan is getting more popular, which this whole controversy is only going to add more popularity to Joe Rogan. But their stock price goes down and people are like, right? Oh, Spotify, all right, they're losing money because of Joe Rogan. No. They will massively gain. And if anybody understands anything about the stock market, realize that drops in stock don't mean shit, especially when you have name value. As a matter of fact, that might be a good thing for them in the long term. It's going to be a better thing for them in the long term. So it's hilarious, it's stupid, but where does the bar have to get to where Joe Rogan is now looked at as the health expert, okay? Yes, he has people on who are experts, who have controversial opinions. They come out and say this themselves. They come out and challenge people themselves. They've been on all different sorts of news networks. There was never a warning for these people on other networks. So give me a break, folks. All right. Joe Rogan, he's a comedian. He's a degenerate. He'll be the first one to admit that to you if you ever get a chance to be around him or see his comedy, you'll understand what I mean. Really, folks, right? What are we doing here?